Hi Aries, welcome back to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth and I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader. Welcome to 2019. This is my first reading back in the new year. For those of you that follow me, you know that I've not been so well. Yeah, Capricorn season was hard, man. This is your reading, your bi-weekly general reading from the 23rd of January up to the 6th of February. I'm going to draw 6 cards initially. The first 3 are going to relate to this last week in January, and the second 3 are going to relate to this first week in February. Okay, and whatever comes out comes out. I've already shuffled and meditated. I'll do a little bit more of that on camera, and then we shall get started. Okay. Okay, there we go. You Wow, Aries. Well, when I was shuffling this deck, before I turned the camera on, there were quite a few cards that flew out. Now I never keep them, and I never tell you unless they come up in the readings because they could be for me. I was thinking about the solar eclipse on the 21st, which is today, the full moon, and I mean I'm filming this on the 21st. Obviously you've seen this, you'll see this after the 21st, but I figured it would be quite a key date, an important time for you. Just bear with me a second. I figured that would be for you or for me, and this is one of the cards that flew out. This is the Justice card, and this is the card at the base of your reading, which means this is the overall energy and focus for you guys up until the 6th of February, that first week in February. And this is a Justice card. Now I am so out of practice because obviously I've not read any cards for ages, so you're my first. I think this is Libra off the top of my head, and this is card number 11, so it's 1-1, so it's new beginnings. This is a card of balance. Now the interesting thing with when we have the full moon or lunar eclipses or solar eclipses is that there's a huge element for change with eclipses. Okay, I mean, if you read the description box below, you'll read what I say about solar and lunar eclipses. But you know, major events generally happen at these times and that's going to be the 21st for you. So it could be that something is either internally in a spiritual sense or more externally in your outside world. Some sort of balance is being restored, an apology might be being given, an understanding or an explanation may be given to you, and that could come around the 21st, which is the full moon day, which is Monday. The eclipse is in Leo, and the just so you know, for signs, you know, that could be something significant for you. I've just realised that's very significant for me. I mean, Leo's about the strength card, and strength card is really the epitome of karmic cycles. As the moon pops its head, there's karmic cycles, and karmic cycles are really events that happen that help us to understand who we are. That, you know, things that go on beneath the surface, the moon, beneath the surface. Things that happen externally in our karmic cycles, the sun, or affect our internal processes, the moon, and that can be something that brings about balance for us. Okay, so we're going to get started and look at your cards. These are your clarifying cards. I'll know when they want to come out. This is for January. Let's have a look at these 4 cards here. And the first card we've got is the Six of Swords. We've got sword energy here, which is related to the elements of air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and it's number 6. 6 is a number of balance and a number of harmony. It's a number of wisdom, is number 6. And this is about the sword energy being about your mental processes, your mental clarity. This is about understanding that it's time to move on now. So it could be linked with this Justice card, i.e. you've achieved some balance within yourself. It could be that it could be that someone apologizes to you, or you forgive something. But I feel like this is actually linked to this week, actually. I'm filming this on Monday the 21st. I feel like this is linked. So this could be something that's happened for you this week, at the beginning of the week. And I wouldn't be surprised with the eclipse coming in. This is all tarot cards are questions for me. So this is questioning for you. The questions this card is asking you is, what do you need to see differently? What do you now need to make peace with? What have you been going through mentally, in your thoughts, in your mind that has maybe stopped you from moving on, or stopped you from feeling in balance? You know, it's time that we move on from this situation now, that you move on from this situation now, whatever it may be for you in your life. And that's the opportunity that seems to be afforded for you this week in January, okay? The next card we've got is the Nine of Swords. So we're all up in our head, Aries. But this is really what this time is about. We have with the sword energy, again, it's about our thoughts, our minds, our clarity, our consciousness, our communication, what we say, what we want to say. Number 9s are about our internal processes. Number 9 is where I've been for the last 3 weeks. Number 9 is about no one else being able to reach you. No one else being able to reach you apart from you. No one else being able to understand what's going on in your mind apart from you. And that's because the things that sprout up in our mind may not be logical, may not be realistic almost. They might not be real fears or real things that we need to be afraid of or anxious of, with the Nine of Swords. But it's everything that we fear, and it's us being conscious and aware of those things. It's things like the eclipse is shining a light on things that we have run away from. Thoughts about ourselves, thoughts about our past, thoughts about our job, about our relationships, whatever it may be for you as an individual. You can see them with the Nine of Swords. Now, we refer to this in the shorthand as the dark night of the soul, but really for me, this is a card of awareness, because it brings you into awareness of really the things that you have been, the shadows that you have been ignoring, the shadows that you've been averting your eyes from. With the dark night of the soul, you can't escape those shadows anymore, but actually this is something that brings you balance, that brings you an appreciation for what you've been through, especially with the number 6 there in Justice as well. Okay, we've got the King of Wands. So we're moving through this week and through the month of January now, and we've got the King of Wands here. This card is being clarified by this one here. Oh, might be both of them actually. This one wants to come out. Sorry about that. I had a very strong reaction there. This is coming out as the King of Wands. There's a fear though attached, which is very unusual for the King of Wands. I'm just going to drink some drink. We don't usually have fear with the King of Wands, but I'm picking up on fear here. And it's a case of Aries about moving forward. Again, moving forward in a direction that you are, I'm sick of saying that, passionate about. Now, with the King of Wands, wand energy is related to our second chakra, our sacral chakra. And that is related to all of our things that we love and that we're passionate about, our life force, the things that make us happy, the things that make us feel motivated, the things that we want to, that we're excited about, our creativity, our passions. And with it being masculine, that's about taking action on those things. All the masculine energies are about movement, are about you doing something to affect those things or to bring things about. So to, in this instance, to exercise, you doing something to exercise your passion. But there's also fear attached to that card. I mean, to be fair, the second chakra, the sacral chakra, I personally refer to as the torture chamber, because that's after a huge amount of meditation on that chakra at a specific time in my life. And I realised that, you know, this is the area that we actually hold on to all the things that have made us feel disempowered, the things that have hurt us. Oh gosh, the slights, the things that have made us feel, the things that have kept you down. I feel like that's what it is. I feel like you've been kept down, or you feel like you've been kept down for some time, actually. And that's something that you are going to be breaking free from. It's like you've been repressed almost, or suppressed for some of you. That's how some of you feel, that you're not being expressive. You've not been able to be expressive. You've not been able to be truthful. You've not been able to be honest. Not honest, but you've just not been owning yourself. You've just not been explicit about who you are. And I feel like that is the type of revelation that you can come into, you know, around a full moon eclipse. It can be that type of energy, because things might be released and transformed with eclipses. Things might be revealed with eclipses. You might learn something new with an eclipse, something that you've wanted to believe for a long time. You might finally be able to give something up, or start something that you've wanted to start for a long time. And it's as if you have that awakening this week of, one, realising that you have been thinking, putting yourself down, holding yourself back, you know, realizing how damaging that's been for your soul, how damaging that's been for, like, your heart, and for your soul, for your ability to feel at peace, and your ability to feel, you know, really truly authentic in your life has just been, like, repressed, has been stopped. That might have been from somebody else, or from other people, or from circumstance and situation, but that could have been from you as well. And it's as if you realise that this week in January. It's as if you realise that, and it's like a light goes on, and suddenly you're off. You're changing, you're moving, you're going. You're going to do things differently, and you know, you're right to stand up for this. You've got the Seven of, this is linked to this. You've got the Seven of Wands here. So again, we've got wand energy. All we've got so far is air and fire. So think about how combustible those two things are together. I mean, you know, a fire cannot start without air, without oxygen. But too much air can put a fire out. And that's kind of what it's like. It's about, you've got to have that balance with, you need a certain amount of logic, you need a certain amount of reasoning, you need a certain amount of awareness to grow, to feed your passions, and to direct them almost. But you have to also be conscious that this is something that it is unsteadying, because you're using, I've realised this myself, actually, that you're using different muscles when you start something new. You're using different parts of yourself that you haven't had to rely on before, and that is in itself something that can make you feel unsteady. But you've got to feel the fire, and you know that this is right for you. Some of you, I feel like, what it could be in an area that's seemingly small in your life, but it should suggest, just because of the time of year, just because we've got the eclipses, it could be something very big for some people. This idea of being inauthentic, this idea of not being true to, not being true to who you are, but feeling repressed, feeling like you're not, like, seeing that you're not being real, that you're not really being present. Like knowing what that means. When I say that, you understanding what that means, like getting it, like, yeah, like I'm sort of like, we're fake, we're all fake. I mean, we all have to be at times because we don't know who we are, but it's as if like you know who you are now and you're not willing to be fake anymore, whatever that is for you as an individual. You know, was always positive. I mean, I'm always happy and always positive, and I've always been that way outwardly, but I've not always inwardly felt that way. I mean, I have to a lesser extent, but do you know what I mean? It's like, always look on the bright side of life, always be positive, always be positive. And that's what was my natural way of, not natural, it was learned behaviour actually. I'm going off on a tangent here. That was learned behaviour. I learned that it was important for me to project that happiness, because then that would help me to feel happy. But there was always a reason behind that projection. And I think that once I realised that, then I didn't have to project it anymore. I realised that it's okay to be sad about this, because that was shitty, that was really bad. So of course I'm going to be sad about it, and of course it's going to have affected me, and in what ways has it affected me, and etc, etc. So it's like you're coming into that similar realizations yourself, whatever they are, on an individual level. Number 7 is about balance actually. It's endurance on the tree of life. So it's about digging deep and going forward. But with the 7s, it's like you have these. It's like you're seeing how things are now. Clearly, you see it. You see, yeah, this is who I am. This is me in reality, and these are the things that I've learned. The things that I've learned to be, and they're almost fighting each other. And you've really got to stand up for and recognise and connect with really truly who you are and what it is you truly want. I feel like, I was just about to say, I feel like you're coming into that awareness because we've got this 9 of Swords. I mean, I used to always fear the 9 of Swords. It's quite a somber card, isn't it, really? I've been talking for hours, haven't I? It's quite a somber card. It's seemingly, when you look at this card, it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is the worst thing ever. Like, oh my God, look how, like, and we all know what that feels like when you can't sleep at night because you're worrying or stressing or anxious about something. We all know what that feels like. Everyone's experienced that. But I realised that actually this is a positive thing, because you actually, all the things that you've been hiding, keeping down, not thinking about, not allowing yourself to worry about, suddenly you're gonna like see them all, you're gonna realize them all, and they'll hit you hard all at once. But that is to bring you into awareness and to help you to see what's real, what you need to hold on to, and help you to be happy, help you to be truthful in the world and authentic in the world. That's what the Sun card represents. It's kind of happiness, but it's about being authentic, being you, and sharing that with the people around you and the world around you in the decisions that you make and the actions that you take. So it looks like actually for January, and I'm not surprised. I mean, you've not seen me for 3 weeks, whatever. I mean, I probably still sound a little bit ropey, but I cannot overstate how significant 2018 was, and I cannot overstate how significant 2019 is as well. Astrologically, I mean, when you get 2 eclipses in the first month of the year, then and we've got an eclipse at the end of the year as well. You know, we you know, it's going to be intense. Eclipses are like very powerful transits, and they really can completely change everything. Completely change your reality of how it's been for so long. So it's really, really important that we recognise this, and it really feels like in the month of January, this last couple of weeks, this last week and a half in January, you're really being affected by the astrological transits, i.e. transforming, but in a way that, one, you know you need to transform, and 2, you're ready to transform, and the universe is backing you up every step of the way. Okay, now this is as we go into as we move into the month of February. Okay, that first week in February. So we've got the Three of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Now, I've just been watching something on TV a few hours ago before when I woke up, and the oh my god, it was one of those CCTV. I can't believe I'm telling you this. It's called Caught Red. Listen, it's called Caught Red-Handed, right? So BBC One at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's got Dom Littlewood on it, and basically it's like, you know, close, you know, people might get robbed or whatever, and it's like caught on CCTV, and like it's just right good. So anyway, I was watching that this morning. There's a point to this. I was watching that this morning with Dominic Littlewood, and this guy got broken into. He does not matter. His shop got broken into. It's a commercial premises, and it got broken into, and he had CCTV, and sure enough, we saw it. And the thing is, he's already been on this program once before because he got robbed a few years or whatever months ago. Anyway, so he was saying, you know, he's rebuilding, you know, they've got shutters now and all this. I can't believe I'm telling you this. Anyway, there's a point. So he's got these shutters on the shop now, and he's safe, and he's got 2 children now with his 2 little babies, you know, both under 3, whatever, with his wife in Dundee. I can't believe I'm telling you all this. Anyway, but he said something really important, and it made me just click as to how important it just was, like the meaning of this card, because he was talking about building his business back up. And he said, you know, he said, when you have a ship and you've got to drag it on your back, you know, to the water's edge, it's so hard. Like, you really, like, you're trying really hard. You've got the, you know, like a strong man, you know, you're pulling the weight. He didn't go into this much description. You're pulling this boat. But once you get to the water, it's plain sailing. And that is what this Three of Wands represents. See, wasn't that a good story? I told you it was worth it. It's like the effort. This is why we can, this is the card of you know, good fortune, good things coming towards us, you know, good things coming towards us, because we've already put the energy in. We've already expended the energy. We've already put the time, the effort into understanding, to realizing, to becoming conscious of, to becoming aware of, to facing up to. We've already put that time and the energy and the effort into doing that. Realizing who we are, what it is we want, what it is we stand for. We've already put that time and that energy and effort in, so that what comes next towards us is positive. What comes next towards us is almost a reward. It's easy, because this was so hard. Now, January might be hard for you. I mean, I'd be surprised if we've got the 31st, we've got Saturn sextile Neptune. Look at the description box below, and I'll give you a full breakdown of the astrology for the month. You know, so it doesn't surprise me. That we're coming out like this, but in January, with it being difficult. But it looks like, February is a far more positive time and abundant time. Remember, we're leaving January with the Sun card in hand, so that's really positive. We've got the Queen of Swords here, so again, with wands and swords, that's all it's been, hasn't it? We've got the Queen of Swords. So the Queen is the passive aspects of the energy, the feminine aspects of the energies, and that's a really positive thing, because the passiveness means it's about awareness and it's about understanding. So it's about knowing, it's about realizing, it's about becoming, it's about, not strictly speaking, it's about wisdom. I mean, wisdom, it's really irritating, because wisdom is actually gained through experience. So you go through something, and then because you've gone through something, you have an understanding of it. That's what wisdom is in a nutshell. And Queens, it's actually, actually wisdom is actually masculine, whereas actually understanding is feminine. Understanding is that, oh yeah, now I get it. That's what understanding is. Understanding is we go through experiences like the Nine of Swords and like the Seven of Wands in order to realize some things, in order to come into awareness of things that already exist within us, things that we already knew and we forgot, etc. So it's looking like you are really coming into your own, Aries, in the month of February. I've not done the astrology yet for Aquarius season, but I will do that so you can see it next week when you look at your next videos and read that below. It'd be interesting to see what the astrology is saying for you guys in February. Okay, next we've got the Chariot. Now, this was another card that fell out earlier. The Chariot card, before I turned on the camera and I was shuffling. And again, it's a number 7. Check out the Key Wisdom playlist, because there's a video about the number 7s, and I talk about all the number 7s in the deck, including these 2 cards. Number 7 is a card about establishing an equilibrium, re-establishing balance. Literally what Justice is about as well. It's about the balance between yin and yang. Yin is one is internal, our internal structures, our internal emotions, like the moon, and then the yang is the external actions that we take because of our emotional because of our feelings. And the thing is about the number 7 is that it's got to be in alignment. So you've got to, the things that you do on the outside, the things that the way that you behave, the way that you speak, the things that you do in your spare time, whatever, have to be a true and authentic reflection of really what you're experiencing internally. So you should only do, I'm going to go out to this party with my friends because it's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy that. It's going to make me fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be happy, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't, that is being in alignment. That's when we're mastering the number 7s. We're victorious with the Chariot and with the number 7s. But what sometimes happens with cards like the 7 of Cups or the 7 of Wands in this instance is that we do something, but our feelings belie something else beneath. So we'll go to, I'm going to go to the party, I'm going to go to this party. But the reason you go into the party isn't because you think, it's going to be a great time, I'm going to have a great fun. You've like, because if I don't go, they're going to moan at me. Because like, I feel guilty because whatever, or I don't want people to think that there's anything wrong with me because I'm not going out, even though I don't really want to be outside, etc., etc. So the number 7s are about bring our experiences that happen that bring us into that awareness. It might be something, someone asks you to do something and you want to do it or you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway or you don't do it anyway, and that helps you to understand something about what you're experiencing internally. So it could be that there's a challenge coming up for you that you do master, that it seems that it's going to be plainer sailing, easier times for you, easier waters for you in the month of that came out as well when I was shuffling. Anyway, it looks like there's going to be plenty of time, just as I said, the 7s. So we've got 3 7s now. Check out the video on the number 7s. Things are changing now. You're in a new place. You've learned something new in January. You're learning something new about yourself, about what makes you happy, about what it is you want, about why you really do that job, or why you really are in that relationship, or why you treat that person, or whatever it is, yeah? And you come into that awareness in the month of January, and then February comes, and this is the easy part, right? So now you know who you are. All you have to do is be honest. That's it. You just have to be honest with it. And if any situation or circumstance arises that challenges, your new understanding of yourself, then you still have to stay true to that new understanding of who you are and whatever that awareness understanding is. And it looks like you start off the month in that vein. You're like, yeah, okay, I know who I am. I know what I want. This is good, right? I know where I'm going. I know what's coming toward me. This is what I've needed. This is what I've wanted. This is where I've been trying to get to. But then the number 7's hit. And the number 7's hit because for 2 reasons. One, there is a situation that arises to help to challenge that equilibrium, to make sure that this is where we want to be. But also to eclipse things out. Now, I've not done the February astrology yet, but I'm pretty sure, I've talked about eclipses twice already you know, for me, this is where I've literally been in January. This and the Hermit energy, and it really, and the I might do a video about that anyway. Honestly, I've got so much information in my brain right now. I should say wisdom. I mean experience. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I digress. So, the Seven of Cups is like, for me, feels like Mercury retrograde, because it's like people talk about it being lots of choices, and that's all true, and blah blah blah, lots of different emotions, whatever, that's all true. But really, for me, what happens with this energy is that we're in a new there's a new normal. There's a new normal now with the number sevens. Sevens are all about new experiences, new understandings, you know, mysteries and uncovering mysteries and awareness of yourself. And it's about going through experiences that teach you that. And it's sometimes that road is so long that we go down, that path is so windy that we go down to try to understand ourselves, that we kind of forget who we were when we started the journey. And that's the energy of the Seven of Cups. It's as if there's things that, because you've learned new things, there's things now that you can't rely on anymore because they weren't authentic to you. And so you've forgotten how to feel that way. You've forgotten how to put yourself in that box anymore, which is positive. But it can challenge us, because what it can make us do is it can make us feel confused. It can make us, well, I don't really know what to do. Like, you know, I've told that person I don't want to be with that person anymore. And, you know, and yeah, I might feel differently now, but I don't know how to be with that. I don't know how to be with them again. I don't know how to forgive them. I don't know how to, whatever it is for you as an individual. So that's that type of energy. And you know, it's not about instability, because, you know, look, we've got this energy of justice. The overall focus is about balance, restoring balance, equilibrium, and, you know, things being how they should. We've not seen the Tower, so it's not as if anything drastic's going to happen. But there's definitely, you know, a sense that you're in a new situation now, Aries, and that's really because of the awareness that you've reached, because of where you now are. And I really want to know what happened. What happened for you? For some of you, I suppose it could have been you could have travelled. You know, you could have gone. You know, taken a job abroad, for example, and then that's something that's worrying you, or taken an opportunity abroad, or gone travelling, and you're worried about that. But it's what you need to do. For some of you, that's what it will be. You know, you decide that you're gonna, you know, go live and work in a different country, or in a different part of the country, or whatever. And even though you know that that's the right thing to do, it's something that's made you feel afraid, or you know, scared, or whatever. But it's fine to feel afraid. It's fine to feel scared. We don't you know, it doesn't matter that you feel scared. What matters is that fear is there to it's part of your awareness. It's part of your awakening. It's part of you getting into balance. It's part of you questioning, okay, well, what is it that I'm afraid of? You know, you get that information dumped on you with the Nine of Swords. And you then have to sort of navigate life again with all this new information, which is kind of what's going on in February. And it's, you know, in February, look, it's not as if you're taking much action. You're just having experiences, or your new world, your new understanding is actually making you feel afraid, because it might be that you realise, do you know what? No, I don't want to be with this person anymore. Maybe that's what it was that maybe that's what the awareness was. You know, God, I don't want to do that job anymore. God, I'm literally, what have I been doing for the last 10 years? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't do this. Or why did I let him go? Why did I let her go? I need to go back. Whatever it is for you as an individual. It's as if you have this realization in January, which is what happens with eclipses. And it might be big stuff. It might be stuff that you've not spoken to that person for 20 years. You've not spoken to that person, whatever. But when you have those realizations, it does change you, because it's like you go to bed one person, you wake up a different person, because you're like, well, hang on a minute, I now know this. How can I just continue my life as it was when I know that I really need to be with him, or I really need to do that job, or I really want to travel, or whatever it is for you. And that's what this is. You're feeling afraid to take action on the things that you've learned, and in this first week of February. And it's only the first week of February, so you've only just come into this awareness. So, I mean, I reckon it's going to be around the 21st, just because of, as I said, the eclipse. We've had the part solar eclipse on the 5th, and then in Capricorn, and then we had the and then, as I said, on the 21st we've got the full moon and the total lunar eclipse in Leo. So, you know, it's a huge time of transformation, those eclipses, and I was actually in bed for most of it. But believe me, the transformation has happened for me. That's why this reading's going on for 35 minutes. But anyway, we shall leave it there, my darlings. You know, of course you're going to be afraid. All I will say is, you know, of course, you've only come into this realization. You've been living in one way for so long, and now you realize what your passion is, what your truth is, what you really want, and you're afraid to take action of it. But you're already in situations that are asking you to sort of work through them, that are going to give you clarity and help you to know the next step. So don't worry about taking the next step yet, because the situations that you're in are going to help you to navigate the waters, okay, as you move forward through to your new normal, whatever that's going to be. I'm excited for you, Aries, because this is, as I said, this is a spread all about awareness, and coming into awarenesses and realizations about yourself, about your relationship, about your life, your identity, whatever it is for you as an individual. And, you know, that can only be a positive thing, even though it feels like this sometimes and like this, okay? So I hope you enjoyed that, Aries. If you did, please like the video. Obviously, you can also comment and share this video as well on your social media. If you think it might be helpful, please subscribe as well for notifications of when you get new content. You can also follow Key Wisdom Tarot on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'll be putting up your astrology for Aquarius season this week as well. I'll be putting that up on my Instagram and my Facebook, so you can follow Key Wisdom Tarot there to get all that information a few days before it will be on my YouTube channel. And check out the playlist as well. I've done some of the 2019 yearly forecasts, where we go through each of the 12 houses, and we pull a card for each of the 12 houses and each of the months of the year. They're very in depth, so have a check. Which ones have I done? I can't remember now. I've only done I've done Aries. Yours is called, oh my god, your yearly 2019 yearly forecast is called Know Thyself. So this is like definitely in tune with that. So I'll link this at the end of the video. Okay, I hope you have a fabulous week, my fabulous Aries. Thank you so much for all your love and support of Key Wisdom Tarot in 2018, and let's hope for another great year in 2019. I wish you well, my darlings, and your February love reading will be uploaded next week. Have a fabulous week, my darlings. Take care. Bye.